Welcome to Confessing the Faith, a theological and devotional walk through the 1689 Baptist Confession of Faith. I'm your host, Sam Waldron. I'm one of the pastors of Grace Reformed Baptist Church in Owensboro, Kentucky, and the president of Covenant Baptist Theological Seminary. In this talk, we come to Chapter 9 of the Confession, which takes up the very disputed and difficult subject of free will. Do Calvinists and Calvinistic confessions like the 1689 teach that men have free will? I think you could find many pamphlets and essays on this subject by Reformed teachers which seem to give different answers to this question. As with many other questions, so with this question of free will, it all depends on what you mean. As I understand the 1689 and its 5 paragraphs on the subject, it first affirms, but also carefully defines free will in its first paragraph. After that, it speaks of the fact that the free will exists in a fourfold state. Let's take up this affirmation and definition of free will first. Listen to the paragraph 1 of chapter 9. God hath endued the will of man with that natural liberty and power of acting upon choice, that it is neither forced nor by any necessity of nature determined to do good or evil. In context, this statement is both a clear affirmation of free will and a careful definition of it. It affirms that the will of man has natural liberty. God hath endued the will of man with that natural liberty. This is an affirmation of a kind of free will. It is power. It is the power of acting upon choice. Does the Bible teach free will in this sense? Yes, I think so. Matthew 17:12, but I say to you that Elijah already came, and they did not recognize him, but did to him whatever they wished. James 1:14, but each one is tempted when he is carried away and enticed by his own lust. Deuteronomy 30:19, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. So choose life in order that you may live, you and your descendants. The human will is not forced by any necessity of nature to do good or evil. This is the confession's definition of free will. And it is similar to chapter 3, paragraph 1, where the confession says, nor is violence offered to the will of the creatures, nor the liberty or contingency of second causes taken away, but rather established. Here, the confession says that the liberty of second causes, like men and women, is established by the Scriptures, not taken away. When Calvinism rejects free will defined in other ways, it is not adopting behavioralism or physical or chemical determinism. Otherwise, there could not be human responsibility, and the Bible does teach human responsibility. Passages like Proverbs 1:24-33, because I called, and you refused. I will mock when your dread comes, for the waywardness of the naive will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. Or John 3:18-19, he who does not believe has been judged already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. This is the judgment, that the light has come into the world, and men loved the darkness rather than the light. Against some Calvinists, both contemporary and in the past, we must affirm the free will of man. But we must, while affirming it, also carefully and biblically define it.